Hello and welcome to my little bookish corner of the internet. My name is Harriet. Today I'm going to be doing a review of one of my all-time favourite books, and that is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It has been a little while since I've read this. I believe I read it around last summer, so it's been about a year, but I just want to talk about it. I don't feel like it gets talked about enough. And that's saying something because this was everywhere on BookTube and bookstagram last year, and people do still talk about it, but I want more people to read this. So this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to give anything away, but I definitely want to talk through what I loved about the book, if there was anything that I didn't like. But yeah, just all in all, I just want to talk about this. So that's what we'll do today. So if you didn't already know kind of the plot and the premise of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, we are essentially following an interview with Evelyn, and Evelyn was like a Hollywood starlet and an icon back in the 50s through to the 80s, and we are basically following her life and her love interests, her romances, and why she had seven husbands. Now we are following this from the perspective of Evelyn when she's talking through the interview, but we are also following the perspective of Monique Grant, who is the interviewer. And basically we don't know too much about Evelyn at the start of the book. People can't really get a lot of good information on them. So the fact that Monique has managed to get this interview where Evelyn is opening up about everything is just really spectacular and also really unusual. So Monique is kind of trying to figure out why Evelyn has personally selected her to do this interview. But she's also really interested in learning about Evelyn's life story. So this spans many, many decades. It literally follows essentially the whole of Evelyn's life and all of the people that are in her life, her friendships, her relationships. And there are things in here that I really didn't realise would be in here. So it touches a lot on different sexualities, that's with various different characters as well. And I just really enjoyed it. So Taylor Jenkins Reid is like a master at creating really realistic characters. And I think it's because a lot of the time they are really flawed, which people are. Not everyone is perfect. Everyone's got their downsides and everyone's got like their little things that they do all the time. And everything that happens has a carry-on effect. And that happens a lot in these books. So I just feel like the characters are written really well. And character development is something that I really, really appreciate, and I look for it in a book. So for this to be the first book that I've read by Taylor, I was just absolutely blown away. Unfortunately, it left me with very high expectations for other books. I did read Daisy Jones and the Six, and it just didn't hit the same marks for me, basically. So that is a shame, but this isn't a review about that. We're talking about this book. But yeah, basically, Taylor Jenkins Reid is just a master at creating characters. And Evelyn Hugo herself, obviously she's been brought up in a completely different background to what she experiences when she's in Hollywood. And she's treated in certain ways by people in Hollywood, and I find that it does change her a little bit, but she is very strong-willed and very strong-minded, and that definitely comes across in her character, and you can't help but love her even though you really hate her sometimes and you hate the decisions that she makes. But because you know her inside and out just from reading this, you completely understand why she does the things that she does. So even though they might frustrate you and they might negatively affect other characters, you completely get it. And that is just something that I don't experience a lot with books. I don't find a lot of the times that I can really get to know a character inside and out in such a short amount of time. I mean, this book, the version that I've got is only 385 pages long, which isn't a lot. Not when you think about other huge books that I have, like the A Song of Ice and Fire novels and things like that. Yeah, what more can I say about this without ruining anything? It's very romantic, it's very steamy, extremely steamy. It's gripping, it's thrilling. There is so much that happens in this. It's all very dramatic. That's the thing I want to talk about. A lot of the times with Taylor Jenkins Reid's novels, they are very dramatic. There is always a lot going on, and there's a lot of like scandal and cheating and backstabbing and gossip, which usually I don't like, but for some reason when Reid does it, I just love it and I lap it up, and I really struggle to put it down. So I read this so quick. I gave it to my mum to read afterwards, and I think there's someone at my work that wants to read this as well so they can borrow it. But yeah, if you want Hollywood glamour, scandal, romance, steam, you want good character development, I really, really recommend picking this up. And if you have read it, then we can talk about it down below, or you can message me on Instagram, because I just want to talk about this all the time. The only thing that I didn't love was Monique Grant's point of view in this book. I felt like sometimes she was quite an unlikable character, and she was just a bit blah compared to Evelyn. The development wasn't really there for me personally, but because it was such a small part of the book, it didn't really affect it for me. So all in all, this was still a 5-star read for me. Obviously, it's one of my favourite books. But yeah, just read it. Just give it a go. If you can find it secondhand, even better if you're not sure about it. But if you like anything steamy, gossipy, you're going to absolutely adore this. So yeah, that is my review of The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like I say, let me know down below if you have read it, what you liked, what you didn't like. If there's going to be spoilers, I prefer you to just message me on Instagram, or put spoilers at the top of your comment and then leave a couple lines and then start talking about it. But I'd be really interested to discuss this book with you. Okay, that is it from me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!